Hey guys, I finally get to do a video with Rochelle. I talk about her all the time. I was afraid that you guys thought she was my imaginary friend, but this is my best friend Rochelle. She's gonna start doing videos with me. She reads a lot, so she's gonna be doing some book reviews, and I read like People magazine, so maybe here and there I'll interject. We're actually reading a book together, and we're gonna try to review that since some of you told me when I asked you what kinds of videos you would like to see that was something you wanted, so we're gonna try it out. But today's video, we are starting a new series. What did you decide we were gonna call it? I can't remember.
You think your relationship's bad.
Oh yes, you think your relationships are bad. So we're both in our late 20s, and I know that a common theme on YouTube is people talk about relationship problems, and I know there's a lot of young girls out there that are dating people and not sure what to do. And I noticed they ask beauty gurus for advice. Not that we're beauty gurus necessarily, but we kind of wanted to tell you guys some funny stories, and we're going to pick a different kind of type of dating scenario to talk about as we do these videos. Yeah, here's Webster. He's with us today too. Hopefully he'll behave. And so today we wanted to talk about blind dates. And if you've ever had a blind date or a really bad date or blind date, leave some comments below. We'd love to hear about it. And I'll let Rochelle go first today.
I've only ever been on one blind date, and I think that's telling in and of itself. But when I was at community college, so I would have been 18 years old, I hadn't had a lot of dating experience. I didn't date a lot in high school.
Yeah, we weren't cool in high school,
not
just
cool.
for the record.
Yeah, I'm kind of nerdy. I do a lot of nerdy things. You know, choir and reading, and that was not really like, there wasn't a huge dating pool in our high school advanced choir where I spent the majority of my time.
Well, and our grade was only like 85
No,
people.
we had like 73 people graduate with us.
I don't know who these other 10 people I'm thinking were in our grade are, but there wasn't, like, not that the guys were even bad, but the pickings were slim.
Yeah, and you've known these guys since first grade, so you know everything about them. It's not really like the ideal thing. So it was at community college, my first 2 years in college, and the dating pool was slightly larger because 5 counties go there. And we had a really good friend named Laura who lived in the county above us.
Oh, I forgot about her. Yeah,
yeah.
Laura.
And so she took pity on me because she was the sweetest person ever, and was like, "Oh, I have this really great friend whose name I can't even remember anymore. You should go on a date with him."
We're just gonna call him Steve for the sake of the
we'll
video.
call him Steve. So I ended up driving like an hour away to meet Steve, and we ate at McAdoo's, which was fine because McAdoo's is it's like a sub sandwich shop that's kind of a local thing here. So sub sandwiches, and we shared like a giant dessert in like a big huge schooner glass. And that was fine. And like
I couldn't have done that. I don't like swap and spit with people.
it was weird because like I don't know you, and we're gonna share this
you don't know where
dessert
he's
kind
been.
of thing. But you know, whatever, he was paying, so I eat dessert. But you know, after that, we end up like it's really awkward. You don't know anything about the other person, so you don't really know what to talk about. We hadn't even really talked outside of the blind date other than to just arrange it. So it wasn't even like, oh, here's a person. Like, I know a lot of people meet on the internet and they interact through like Twitter and YouTube and their blogs. They follow each other there, so you kind of know each other differently than when you first meet somebody and go on a date with them that you've maybe met through the
You've
internet.
had a conversation with them.
But this was literally like, I'll be wearing a white carnation, I'll be in a blue car kind of thing. We just like met up, and it was awkward and weird. And so then like we finish eating, and it's like 40 minutes later, and it's, you know, he's trying to come up with something to do, but where we live there's not a lot of options. Where I went on the date there were even fewer, so we ended up driving around this small town, and I have like, you know, unreasonable fears, and so the whole time I'm on this date, I'm thinking to myself, I'm driving around in a car with a strange person that I don't know, who's significantly taller than me. I'm like 5'2", like max.
Movie.
And he was easy
killer.
6 foot tall. So that was a really awkward
So was the
experience.
Craigslist killer, right?
Maybe. So, you know, when we leave, he gives me his pager number. I mean, and this was like, 2002.
Pager, I was about to say, was this like 1993?
So, it was really weird, and I went home and was talking to my family about it. I have an older cousin who's extremely overprotective. And filled in the older brother slot. And he told me that essentially only drug dealers had pagers in 2002. So, needless to say, our relationship didn't go anywhere. Not because he was a drug dealer,
I'm glad
but
you said
just
drug dealer, because I just remembered 2 more blind dates I've been on. But
Oh,
anyway, go ahead.
So, yeah, that was my blind date experience. And I have since then never gone on another blind date because it's awkward to not know a person and have to date them even once.
And it's dangerous.
Yeah, that too.
Well, she actually brought up some memories. I didn't realize I've been on several blind dates. The first one, my friend, I had gotten out of kind of a long relationship that ended really badly. We'll do that when we talk about when we do our relationship tragedies video or people we almost married video. But I think she was like trying to get me back out there. And so she set me up with this guy, and I mean, I'm from the South, and there are things about my heritage that I'm proud of, but I don't necessarily, like, seek out people to date that are, I'm trying to think of a nice way to put this. Well, here we call them
really country.
A redneck, yeah, like very, like, there's nothing wrong, you know, with driving trucks or tractor pulling or any of that kind of stuff. But especially not at that time. That wasn't something I was attracted to. Yeah, he was basically a farmhand. So she sets me up with this guy. And he has on, his jeans are tighter than mine. We meet them at Applebee's. And he,
were you with another couple when
yeah,
you went on your
I was with her.
That's
and her,
lucky.
like, long-term boyfriend. And I think it was like a friend of a friend or a friend of the boyfriend. I don't exactly know how. I don't even know that they knew him very well. But we just sat at the table awkwardly, and like the other couple is making conversation and trying to make us talk, and he keeps asking me about things I like. Like, do you like bull riding? No. Do you like rodeo stuff? No. Do you like Carhartt? No. The one thing that we both like were boots. I do like boots, but I like more like pirate boots and not necessarily like cowboy boots. This is like teeny tiny clown car just drove by. We're actually in our car in Kmart parking lot, if you must know.
I think they know they're in a car.
Yeah, you probably figured out this wasn't our house, even though it'd be freaking sweet. But anyway, so we eat and it's awkward and we hardly make conversation, so they decide we're going to go back to their house and watch a movie. And they leave us alone on the couch. And the girl's house that we were watching the movie at actually had a Jack Russell, like Webster. So he's on this side of the couch, and I'm way over here, and we're not talking. And the dog gets on his leg and, like, starts trying to make sweet love to it. And like, the date basically went so badly as far as the communication that when he went home, like, he didn't even really say goodbye to me. It was just kind of like, peace out. They didn't ask for my number. There wasn't a second date.
I actually just remembered I did go on a second blind date.
Nice. Okay, so we got more for you. Go ahead. Yeah, that one wasn't very exciting. Oh, I know the one that, because Rochelle was involved in one of my blind dates, and she may not even remember.
Are you sure?
So this girl, so this girl that I don't know very well, she said she had a friend from a neighboring town. Is it ringing a bell yet?
Yeah.
For me to date. And so I met him in, like, the Cracker Barrel parking lot. And the same thing like Rochelle, I just got in the car with him. Which, looking back on it, was really stupid because she didn't really know him that well. So he could have been the Craigslist killer. Sorry, Webster's making a bed. He's making noises. And so he picks me up. And he actually, like, the first date really wasn't that bad. He was pretty nice. I mean, he seemed fairly...
movie date? Are we on the same person?
Yeah, but that was like I actually ended up going, what Rochelle's saying is I went on like several different dates with this person. And because the first date really didn't go that badly. It wasn't like romantic or anything like that. But
like how you just whispered romantic.
He was at least romantic. But he was at least friendly. And so I had kind of been out on a couple of dates with him, and so I decided to introduce him to Rochelle and her family, because her family, you know, has known my family since the beginning of time. So I figured they could kind of give me an honest opinion. So he has, like, kind of long hair, and he's very skinny. And the thing about him that always bothered me the most, like, he was a nice enough person, but he hugged like a girl. Like, I think Rochelle probably hugs me, not that Rochelle's, like, manly, but more manly than this guy did. Like, I felt like I was hugging myself. Like, it really like, it creeped me out every single time. So I bring him over to their house.
No, we met at a movie.
Oh, okay. Apparently we met at a movie. And they're all immediately like, no, like, stay away.
And he was a White Sox fan.
Yeah, that's
people
true.
aren't White Sox fans, people. I mean, if there are White Sox fans watching this, we don't mean to offend you in any way.
True story.
But there aren't really White Sox fans in the greater Wytheville area.
It's not something you hear every
I've never met
day.
another White Sox fan in my whole life.
Not something you hear every day.
Almost 30 years old.
So yeah, we went out on a couple of days. I mean, I don't really have anything too terrible to say about it, but it just didn't work out. And then the one that was the funny one is, so our mutual friend decides to set me up on a date with this guy that goes to the same Bible college as her boyfriend. So you would think that going to a Bible college, like, he would be a nice person, I guess. And so, I mean, I can't say that we ever really necessarily, like, dated, but I think we were in that, like, 7th grade, like, talking term or whatever people are calling it.
You were hanging out.
These days, yeah.
We would do stuff in a group of people.
Right. Like, there was never any hand-holding, you know, or anything like that. I think I wanted to date him because I thought he was cute and he seemed, you know, okay. And so, kind of like, as our relationship was progressing, he just up in one day leaves from the Bible college. And, like, I noticed when I would ride in his car with him, he would have, because I rode in his car with him by myself, like, several times. He always had, like, all these cigarette lighters, but he didn't smoke. And so it was kind of like, that's weird, you know? I don't know, like, what line of work he would need a lot of cigarette lighters for. But anyway, like, he never smelled of cigarettes. He never had cigarettes anywhere. He never offered me a cigarette, so I don't know what that was about. And so one day I get a phone call from the friend that set us up, and she's like, yeah, he's gone. I'm kind of like, what you mean? Like, he died? Like, what do you mean he's gone? She's like, no, he left. And so what had happened is he packed up everything in his Bible dorm. I don't know if he was being, like, investigated or what happened, but he just, like, up and disappeared. Never talked to me again, never told me where he was going, and I later found out it's because he was basically, like, dealing drugs out of his Bible college dorm.
Like a seminary school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like seminary type college thing.
So needless to say, like, that one didn't work out. But anyway,
the only other blind date I went on was, again, our mutual friend kind of set it up. It was actually her boyfriend at the time. Had this really good friend, and his name was Kicker. Like, I actually don't know his real name. I just know his name was Kicker.
His real name's Kicker.
His nickname was Kicker. But it was really awkward. We decided we were going to have, like, a kind of grill out kind of thing. And so I went over to my friend's house, and she had just had a baby. Like, her baby was, like, 4 months old or so. So my friend is juggling her hamburger and her baby, and I offered to hold the baby while she ate. So everyone, while my friend was eating, like, gobbles down their food, and then she takes the baby back and hands me my plate, and I have to sit and eat, while the other 3 occupants of the room stared at me, which I have issues,
that's like my
eating
number one
in front
pet
of
peeve,
people.
yeah.
So, like, I'm sitting there eating a hamburger, which is not the neatest food to eat. It's kind of a messy meal. I'm eating while people just stare at me. So that was really awkward and kind of, like, kicked off the evening all weird. So then after that, we moved to the living room where first he was an hour and 15 minutes late for our blind date cookout. So that was the first thing. Then we had the awkward eating. Then we moved to the living room where we watched TV, and I sat on one side of the room and he sat on the opposite side of the room. And the only actual conversation that we had was when he told me that perhaps President Eisenhower had never been sworn into office and wasn't a president. So that was the only conversation we had, which was essentially like, I was kind of like, I don't understand what you're talking about right now, and I don't think you're very intelligent. And then I looked it up on the internet of my phone, and proved that he was in fact wrong, and President Eisenhower had been sworn into office and was actually a president. And it might not have been Eisenhower. I can't remember what he said. This wasn't really a life-altering event for me. He did ask for my phone number and gave me his phone number, and he friended me on Facebook. I've never spoken to him again in my entire life. So, 2 blind dates. I lied to you earlier. But, like Alissa said, if you guys have any fantastic blind date stories, feel free to video response or leave them in the comments.
We would love a video
We would
response.
absolutely love to hear your stories, and we apologize that you've had to sit through 15 minutes of blind date stories. Hopefully the next one, this was really spur of the moment, so hopefully next time it'll be a little more streamlined and, you know, under the mark some.
Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in our next video.
Bye!